Welcome, guys, to the Limo show. I got Johannes with me. Johannes is the founder and CEO of Dates on Demand, which is an agency that helps business owners, high-level professionals to basically automate their dating lives. And as the name suggests, getting dates on demand, literally, like just automatically getting dates without having to get involved and sending cold DMs or wasting hours of swiping and stuff, like really delegating the whole dating part for high level people, mainly business owners. And so yeah, I came across Johannes a few weeks ago. I messaged him. I really liked what he was doing. I thought it was interesting and pretty unique in the dating space. So welcome, Johannes. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot for the invite.
Yeah, welcome. Johannes is also a DJ, so we'll talk about that later. He does a lot of different things as well. He's involved into events and stuff as well, which is pretty interesting. So we'll get into that. So maybe I mean I've tried to introduce you the best way I can, but maybe I mean for those of for the people who don't know you, you could maybe introduce yourself real quick, where you're from, what you're doing, and stuff like that more specifically.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I'm Johannes, and usually I'm spending most of my time in Warsaw. So I've moved there a couple of years ago. Not spending the whole year there, but spending quite some time there. Really like it because I came there as a single man back in the days, and now I have a beautiful girlfriend on my side. So that's a good success for a place. Can really highly recommend anybody watching to check out Eastern Europe. Personally, very nice to date there. Also because there's like lots of guys who have like online businesses and people who like to travel a lot, so it's cool. And that's also where I started Dates on Demand. I think it was back in December 2021 when I started this. Basically, lots of my friends at some point were asking me for feedback if I can help them with texting. Since I spent lots of time, probably like around 3 years, more or less, until the people started asking me questions and were like curious about my help. And it took me a little bit longer until deciding actually that I want to do this as a business. But there was just yeah, quite a lot of my friends interested in the service because they all wanted to have somebody doing this because they were running like either like an agency or like an e-com brand or whatever kind of stuff, software, SaaS, or I don't know what. And they were just interested in having someone on their side helping them to get dates on autopilot, basically. And I was also very intrigued by this general idea because it just really is a huge time saver. And yeah, that's why this whole thing started. And looking back now, we've managed lots of accounts in almost not every country in the world, but the most common countries in the world. And it's been a lot of fun, and we really like to help the people because we can see that yeah, on the one hand for us it's always fun because we learn a lot, like because you really learn a lot about the profiles and the pictures, how also the different girls react to different kind of profiles and messages in different countries and cultures and so on. Yeah, and we've been working with one of the biggest like personal brands in like online business and marketing, taking over their dating basically, which is also gave us the opportunity to meet lots of cool people and yeah, just a fun business, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
No, nice intro. I didn't know you were doing this for 3 years almost now, so since 2021. So that's pretty interesting because I only find out about you only recently, actually, through a common friend who also does online dating.
Mm. Mhm.
And you know who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes.
Giancarlo, if you're watching this, Giancarlo, shout out. Uh, but but yeah, we had a common friend who was also helping guys with their dating lives, and then I noticed you had also this dates on demand company, so it was pretty interesting. And so, what were the challenges for you when you started? Because starting this kind of dating thing is pretty pretty difficult and pretty niche in my opinion, because even me, I'm a pretty broad market because I help guys with their dating life more generally. But you, it's like super niche. You got to target the right people who really can afford it, who have this mindset of I'm just going to delegate it, and it's not super common. So I guess there was some challenges maybe in the beginning, or was it pretty easy and you got like referrals quickly and stuff like that? Or yeah, how was it in the beginning?
To be honest, I think the only challenge is our own mindset in the end and our own beliefs because it wasn't really like a problem of getting people and getting referrals, but I think it was more of like for at least in my experience, like just solving um, my own beliefs or trauma or whatever, everything which basically sabotaged myself and like not believing maybe in it or thinking like, is it actually going to work? Or listening to people like telling me like, yeah, what is this? What the fuck are you doing there? Blah, blah, blah. Like I would say that that is the biggest challenge because um, when we look at markets, like there's like a like fitness market, love and wealth. So everyone wants to have a girlfriend, everyone wants to get rich, and everyone wants to have a six pack, basically,
Yeah.
kind of. So it's like it's mass, it's huge markets, and obviously there's lots of demand in these markets. I would say the biggest challenge still up to today is really analyzing yourself, reflecting myself, talking to my business partner, like to find out, okay, where are we currently stuck? Like what do we need? Not only like actual things like, okay, we need to upload more stories or we need to do more reels, but more on a mindset perspective, like what are the beliefs which are holding us back at the moment? What are we not thinking about? Which behavior are we having? Maybe in sales calls, for example, like or like any kind of, let's say, client communication or whatever. Like how can we make sure that we stay focused on our goals and also don't sabotage ourselves. Maybe it's a different answer to what you were looking for. I don't know, but I think that
Mhm.
that was and is still today the biggest challenge of like always reanalyzing. Okay, how can we make things easier? How we can make them smoother? Because, for example, like in the beginning of this business, I thought I'm never going to be able to scale this business because it's extremely lots of manual work, lots of organizing, lots of client back and forth, finding the right time. The girl has to have time, the guy has to have time. You need to find a place. You need to like, there's so many things, variables. Um, but now, after 2.5 years, we finally understood the business more and more, and now we're actually starting to implement the right processes behind in the back end, let's say, to be able to get better results for the clients, even better results than they are right now. So because obviously my business partner and me have been in this dating world for like 8, 9 years, so we really have a lot of experience. But obviously, like if you would just give this kind of tasks to a random person who's never has anything to do with this, they're
Yeah.
gonna do a lot of mistakes, and then the client's gonna be like I can just do myself. So you really need
Yeah.
to make sure to deliver amazing quality of work, especially in this kind of profession. And this was like a big challenge, understanding this, how to do it in a way that we can also grow a little bit more as a business, while keeping the client's results the same or even increasing them because of what we put in the back end now, basically. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, so many things you've shared, and I have so many questions that have popped up in my head while we were talking because it's a pretty interesting topic. The first thing you mentioned is, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just the things that you needed to do, like the doing, like posting more or prospecting more or whatever. It was more of the being, like the mindset you
Yes.
need to have and plowing through your own limiting beliefs and subconscious beliefs that might holding you back. And I think is the same in everything. Even in dating, I work with a lot of guys myself, and a lot of the times it's not about trying to learn like the next system or the next line or the next Tinder hack or the next whatever. It's more about them kind of having more clarity about who they are, who they want to become, like what's like holding them back inwards, and working through that, because that's what's truly sabotaging them in their results, not just like a new thing to learn or a new thing to do. Like it's more of a being type of thing as well. And I think the inner game in business and in dating and even in fitness, in any endeavor, is super important, is the most important thing. So it's a great thing that you mentioned. I think it's pretty solid. Another thing is, you mentioned your business partner. So were you with him from the start of this business, or he came after?
He came last year in October, so he came only quite recently, maybe like around 7 months ago, more or less. Um, and this was something which I was very, very happy about, because he brought lots of stuff to the table which I didn't have, like let's say lots of strengths, which were complementary to what I'm good at. And it really added lots of power also, and energy to move forward. Of course, you have, like, I don't know, examples like um, people who just run everything by themselves. Personally, I think I'm I didn't think this in the beginning, to be honest. I thought I was a lonely wolf for a long time, but the more I would say I'm getting older, let's say, the more I learn also that collaboration and working in a team and helping each other out like very closely. The same with my girlfriend. Like, she's like really like a very big asset for me to just talk to also about business matters, because she has lots of stuff she knows about which I don't know about, for example, which is very helpful. And having these very close relationships around me, that really helps to, I would say that the whole business is on a much more professional level nowadays than it was when I was just by myself. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. There's the famous adage, I mean, when you go by yourself, maybe you can go faster, but like when you have a team of people, you can grow in a much larger way. I forgot the quote. There's a saying like that, but basically,
Mhm.
yeah, it's important to have like a team around you, and I think, yeah, it facilitates things. So it's interesting that he came after you already built that. For, I mean, you said he came last year, so you were alone for 2 years, and then
Yes.
he came in. And I
Yes.
think the last time we spoke, you told me that he was doing now most of the texting and stuff. You're not really much involved with the texting,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you walk us through, like, what's the process actually? What are you handling? Let's say right now I want to be your client. I'm giving you my money. I want you to manage my dating life. I don't want to take care of that anymore. I want to take your services. What's kind of the sign up process? What's kind of the things you're doing, and how soon can I get dates? Let's say if I sign up right now.
I mean, if you have a profile running, and we already, let's say, are very fast and do the onboarding today, then we might deliver you already a date today or tomorrow. Like, this could
Really?
be the first.
Okay.
But generally, let's say, if we're realistic, then usually what we do in the very first step is like analyzing the profile of the guy, looking at what is the performance right now, how many likes does he get, how many matches does he get, which apps is he online? Is it Tinder, Hinge, Raya, Bumble, whatever? Like, also depending on the country
Hmm.
and so on. But let's just to name the big ones.
You,
What about Instagram? Sorry.
sorry, it's mainly dating apps, right? It's Instagram, not much. It's mainly like dating apps.
No, it's also Instagram.
Okay, Instagram and dating apps, but only online, I guess. Just online stuff, yeah.
No, not only. We also, like, for some clients of us, we even manage the girls they talk to in the day or in the night, and they're like, "Hey, look, I met this girl, text her and set up a date." So we also do this.
Mm,
So
okay.
if they're like, but yeah, like, let's say that the main focus is in the beginning on building a great profile, helping the guys to understand what they want. Do they want a girlfriend? They want some casual fun? Do they want something between, maybe some fun and then a girlfriend later? Where do they travel to? Lots of guys we work with, they have a very busy schedule, so they go from one country to the next, and sometimes they come back to the same country, so they would like to meet the same girl again because they liked her, for instance. So we also talk to them in between, for example. But first step, profile. That means fashion, looks optimization, body language, sub-communication, what kind of locations we put the pictures, take the pictures, what kind of activities do we have surrounded by them? Do we have some pre-selection in the pictures, basically showing other girls? Yes or no, depending on the goals of the guy, depending on the country, culture, da da da. So the biggest and most important thing in the beginning is the profile. Is the by far the highest leverage for having great results in the end. And yeah, then after the texting, sorry, after setting up the profile, organizing photo shooting, because we have like lots of photographers in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, in whatever, Dubai, Europe, doesn't matter. So we basically have lots of people we work with. We set up the shooting, we organize the whole shooting, we send our clients a list of clothes they should organize for the shooting, so they can just like either give this to their assistant if they have one, or they just order it themselves, the clothes, so they're ready for this kind of matter. And yeah, and then once they have a very good profile, which attracts the kind of girls they want, we launch them on all the apps. If they already have a profile, then we just, exchange the pictures maybe. And with some people, we already start right away texting and only later on update the pictures. And then we, step by step increase the number of dates, because some guys, they just want to have dates as soon as possible. So we can do this, but only if they already have some kind of traction, because if their profile is complete shit, then it's very hard to do anything there. So we just wait a couple of weeks until we have everything together. But yeah, and then we start texting, and then we do everything from texting the girls to organizing the location to going to the restaurant and reserving a table or the bar. We are preparing the guy for the date. We booking us into his calendar so he can only see like his Google Calendar or Outlook or whatever he's using. Okay, now I have a date with Nina at 7 p.m. on Tuesday in this bar, usually close to their house or office, so they don't have to move so
Yeah.
much. And
They
then
can pull quicker too.
if they want to do that, they can do that as well. Yeah, and then that's basically it. So we basically do everything. They don't have to do anything besides obviously having pictures taken of them,
Yeah.
and showing up to the date, because we don't do this for them. But I guess that's
Yeah.
that's clear.
It's pretty dope, man. I mean, it's pretty dope. It's like a high level concierge service for dating, like where
Yes.
everything is taken care of, stuff like that. It's yeah, it's crazy, man. It's honestly pretty crazy. So what's your typical client? Like, just out of curiosity, like what's the age on average? Do you have guys in their early 20s like us, or like 20s, or is it more older guys or stuff like that usually?
I mean, we have everything. The youngest guy is 19, the oldest is 53. So we have really everything. We've seen everything, let's say. I mean, above 53, we haven't had anybody, but I would say the average is around 30.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Usually, I
30.
mean,
Yeah.
usually after 25, they have a bit more money because younger guys usually 19, unless they made money online and stuff. It's
Yes.
tough.
Yes.
And how do you ensure compatibility between the potential dates and them? Do they have to fill in a form and they say what they're looking for, or how do you make sure like it's kind of a match instead of being completely different people? Yeah. How do you?
I mean, we have onboarding. So basically, in this onboarding, we understand the archetype of the guy. We understand what they're looking for. They show us examples of Instagram profiles or profiles from the dating apps which they're interested in. They describe their type to us, and we really understand this type. Obviously, in the beginning, there might be a little bit of back and forth until we completely nail down their expectations. But then the guys are completely off the apps, so they can even delete Tinder or Bumble. Like lots of guys actually want that because they really don't want to bother about this during their work. Some of them, they are still a little bit dopamine junkies, and they still log into the app sometimes and try to see what's happening. But other guys who are, let's say, very focused on their business, they completely delete everything. They don't look at it, and they let us manage the whole thing, which is usually for us the most relaxing. Um, yeah, and then we spend lots of time on the app to match and boost the profile and get as much traffic as possible to the profile, and then organize the dates from there. And yeah, and then obviously, like, if the guy knows before already like what kind of girl he's dating, it's not like a blind date, because we can just like share a screenshot of the pictures of the girl. Or if they still have the app on their phone, they can just quickly have a look if they really like her or not. In some cases, they might say, okay, this one is a no. But usually, they're good, and they go on a date, and then they give us feedback after the date. Like, hey, look, this and this I liked about her. This is what I didn't like about her. Maybe we can look for girls which are a little bit more like this and this instead of this and this. And also, guys, a lot of times they think they know what they want, but a lot of times they actually don't know what they want. They just, yeah, as I just said, they think they know what they want. And once they actually start getting dates, then they also like are like, oh, actually, I always thought I like this kind of girl, but nah, let's go for this kind of girl. Now let's try this. And
Mhm.
that's a good thing also about it, because you can, like, you really don't have to do anything yourself, you know? You just tell us, like, look, let's do it like this. Okay, good. We can completely change the profile. We can delete the old profiles. We can set up new ones. We can go get a SIM card for the guy. We get a new phone, like everything. Like, um, yeah, definitely saves a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And do they ever tell the girl like, "Hey, in fact, I wasn't doing the texting. In fact, it was a company I hired who texted you." Was there like something like that where they actually give full disclosure to the girl about what's happening?
I mean, for example, like my girlfriend, she knows that, like, 4 years ago, before her time, I um, I also, let's say, connected a guy who was texting for others to a friend of mine. Back in the days, I was doing something completely different, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I already knew about this idea back then, before even my friends later on, like some years later, started asking me questions about texting. And then at some point, I also convinced this guy to do this for me. It was a friend of mine. And I actually told my girlfriend that it's happened. Personally, I do not know from the clients. We never researched on that specifically, if they told them the girls they're dating nowadays or not. I really don't know. But I guess some of them for sure told them. Some of them probably not. Maybe some of them also would maybe want to know how they frame it in the best way, because of course the girl could say like, yeah, but okay, but that means you don't know how to do it. Oh yeah, but that's weird. Like, that's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you don't know how to talk to girls. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, if
Mm,
you frame it in the wrong way, it could actually it could actually sound a bit weird. But that's always everything, like, probably with most of the things you can do in life, everything can sound weird depending on if you have an insecure, like, let's say like this, if you have an insecurity about it, and the other no, other person is going to feel it, that you have an insecurity about this specific topic. But
yeah,
if you're like standing behind, like, for example, I had a client, and he had leukemia, cancer, and he had lots of mindset topics regarding this disease, because he was disabled afterwards, basically because of the chemotherapy and so on. And he couldn't see it as him surviving and being like a warrior and a fighter, and he never gave up to his disease. And he can stand behind this. And nowadays, like, he organized like a charity event, and I really helped him to reframe this a little bit in his head, like how strong this actually was of him. And that's the same with this. Like, hey, look, I'm a busy business owner. I don't have time for this stuff. Like, luckily, I have these guys, this concierge service. They know exactly who I am. They interview me, and it's like 15 to 20-minute messages before any kind of date happens. Anyway, it's not more than that. It's not like months of texting, of getting
I
to know
agree.
each other, blah 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 blah. It's like effective date. And then they meet each other. And so if they say it like this, like, hey, look, I'm very busy. I work 12 hours a day. I don't have time to log into this stuff. I hired these guys. They do this. They send a bunch of messages, 10 or 15, I don't know. And now I'm sitting here in front of you. That's it. And
Hmm.
really just like own it, own it. I think that's the most important if you say it. I think that comes down to this because yeah, if you frame it of like, oh yeah, I just didn't know and I was too shy and like I'm still so shy now and like then she's gonna be like, okay, like this is a bit weird,
Mm.
But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, framing is everything, and I've noticed this too. I mean, on my own dates, some girls ask me, so what do you do?" And obviously, there's a way of framing it that I use because if I just say, "Oh, I help guys get laid," and I just do that thing, maybe it's not as well framed as like, "Oh, I have a consulting business. I help guys with their communication skills, stuff like that, confidence." It's different than like framing. So the framing definitely plays a large role in how people perceive those type of things. And how did it affect your own perception of dating or your own dating life? Did it affect it negatively in some way, or was it positive always?
Positive, I would say the deeper I went with this, um, okay, let me maybe like draw like a quick timeline of like 2014 or 15. I started with this dating, just being interested in the topic and like starting to go out and like approach some people and all this kind of stuff. Um, and I was like, I came from a place of like, I'm not good enough. I need to learn this now, and only then I'm gonna be worthy of having a girlfriend. And all
Mm.
these other guys, they're much more successful than me because they have something I don't have. They
Yeah.
don't have something I don't have. I'm not as handsome. I'm not as like maybe communicative. I'm not as confident. I don't know how to. I'm maybe a bit shy. I don't know how to dress. I'm not really good looking or either. Like whatever. Like lots of insecurities. Lots of insecurities. Um, and over time now, in these 8 or 9 years of going through this phase of lots of insecurities and then basically trying to prove myself that I'm the best in dating with results from the outside and and always like like the next one on like even hotter and it has to be this and this and this and like developing lots of ego around this also, which was in the end working for a couple of years, then starting with therapy, psychotherapy, lots of psychotherapy, psychedelic, lots of psychedelic sessions, and all this kind of stuff, understanding my own behavior and understanding that, like myself and my emotions much more over time, like completely different from like 10 years ago, like completely 180 degrees the opposite, I would say, and still working on it. Um, Basically and I probably like I would say I hope that most people will have this journey and don't get stuck at some point because the people who are like who may also have been our clients who are 50 years old continuously telling me I don't find a girlfriend. Yeah, it's so hard and I've done every single coaching in the world and I'm out gaming 2 hours a day. Like, okay, come on, man. You're like 50 fucking years old. Like, of course, there's like lots of stuff internally, like lots of attachment issues and so on and so forth. Maybe you got bullied as a kid. Maybe you were abused. Maybe you got hit. Maybe you were neglected by your mom or your dad. Maybe you didn't have one of your parents. Maybe you like all this kind of stuff. Like how much of an influence this plays in your like the whole behavior. Understanding this, detaching myself from this more and more also gave me much more peace of mind and happiness and fulfillment, specifically in my relationship nowadays with my girlfriend. And even the capability of being in a close relationship and in an intimate relationship with someone. Yeah, sorry for the long monologue and answer now, but basically, there's a huge journey behind, and I'm still on it, obviously, and we all are. But if I compare this with my younger self, like my younger self just wanted to it's normal, I guess, also, you just want to like once you
Mm.
learn this skill, you're like, wow, fuck. It's like even it's almost like a drug, maybe even to a certain degree, like you get so much dopamine in your system, like you just want to like, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not saying it's not a fun. It's not, this was
Yeah.
so much fun. Like I had so much fun, meeting all these guys in all these different countries, going out together, like so much crazy things happened because of this whole journey. So I'm not regretting this, but I'm just saying there's like a journey behind it, Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was actually about to ask you like about your journey, but you talked about it a little bit. But basically, yeah, I guess you had the kind of the hero journey where in the beginning you were struggling to get the woman you wanted, and then you got into the game and blah blah blah. And then
Yes.
I know, I think we related, like you back in the day there was this big company called RSD and all of that and the game and blah blah blah. Like there's so many so many different things. So it's a whole journey, I guess. Um, but what got you from like, okay, I'm just learning this for myself to okay, now I'm gonna do this for other people and I'm gonna like open this company for other people.
Mm. I mean, honestly, I never had the goal of doing this as a job and as a business. I had maybe I don't know 60,000 other dreams. I wanted to become so many other things than this. Never thought about actually doing this as a job. Um, but I mean, I guess it was kind of organically, since in December 2021 when I started offering this because of the demand I had and friends asking me. I mean, in the first months, I had so many clients that I was able to live from this, and I was able to pay my bills and everything from only the first month. And I was like,
Nice.
okay, if that works like this, then why not? Before
Mm.
this, I was doing so many other things. Um, yeah, but that was, I would say, the organic process of basically being good at something, getting lots of people, let's say all my friends basically becoming my clients, which obviously is also like for me was like, okay, if the people who are closest to me become my clients and pay me quite a lot of money for managing their dating profiles, then something must be good about it, right? Like some kind of value I must be able to add to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't pay me. They don't pay me just because I'm their friend, like it's
Yeah.
no. Maybe they spend time with me or go for pizza or whatever, but they're not gonna take their money, which they earned, most of them like hardly earned because all of them are some kind of business owners. They don't come maybe from the best backgrounds, so they had to work for it very hard to earn money. So for them, this also means a lot. And I was like, okay, good. Um, and that's it basically.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I think it all stems. I mean, everything we do in life stems from. I mean, usually, unless you have a 9 to 5 or something, but usually when you start a business like ours, especially coaching type of business or consulting type of business, it usually comes from something you've struggled with yourself and you
Yes.
overcame it and you want to give back and show others now how to do it. So definitely I can also relate to the story of like yeah go I mean struggling with things myself, and then when people see my results or stuff, they ask you and you help them and then it works and stuff like that. I've had friends too who paid me for this, and it's actually sometimes it's actually you wouldn't think so, you wouldn't think that your friend would pay you for that or would pay you for your help. I mean, some friends I give them stuff for free, but yeah, it's interesting to have that. One thing is, and a very interesting question that I thought about was the role of technology in your own process, because now with AI, with ChatGPT, with all these things, I mean, with the rate of progress of technology and I guess in maybe max 4 or 5 years, you could have a clone of you. You could have like a kind of a third party ChatGPT who would log into your client's account, who would text the way you would text, who would do everything the way you would do, and who would look supernatural. Do you think that would happen? And what do you think is the future of your business in a few years with technology and all of that? Do you think it still requires a human, or do you think at some point it could all be AI?
Hmm. Um, Good question. I mean, to be honest, I would say like this. In the end, you're always gonna like if you go on a journey of getting some help, you go on YouTube, you go on Spotify, you go on all these channels, and you look for some. Maybe you ask a friend like, "Hey, who helped you with this?" Like da da da. You ask for some maybe recommendation, refer like if can you refer me to someone maybe like I don't know. For example, I go to the next city to the new city. I'm like, "Hey guys, like where's the best barber shop? Because I would like to have a good haircut." And I guess this will always stay the same. Like people buy from people in the end. So having a personal brand, I think it's one of the most important things, no matter how advanced the technology is. Of course, you can also say they argue that it's going to be an AI personality, and maybe it's going to sell as well. But I think we always going to buy from, not always, but we definitely still keep buying from humans. We're always gonna buy from people because we can relate to them, their journey, and their like everything I just said, for example, like being vulnerable and being open about it and sharing your experience and so on. But yeah, of course, I think to be honest, like I think most of this stuff we do can be automated. The only thing is that dating apps, for example, they don't want this kind of technology on the app because then that makes them. mm, it makes it not inauthentic, so it makes it
Mm.
like weird, because then it's like okay, just a bunch of AIs texting with each other basically. The girl has an AI on her at Tinder and the other one has another.
Yeah.
So they will definitely make sure to be very cautious with and I've seen this like lots of like for example Chrome plugins being like disabled from Tinder or like not allowed because they can track that and they can see this at some point and they develop much better tools to identify if there's some automatic behavior. Still, like same on Instagram, like if they detect that you are like a machine or do something like this, of course you can obviously work with scripts. Sometimes it works also, like sending like a very easy script on Tinder, like trying to get girls follow you on Instagram, then maybe have like someone texting there. But you have to be careful with this kind of stuff. And I think that's also plays in our advantage because we also use technology. So we use AI also because we actually have an extension which has all our data and all our screenshots, all the conversations, and is already able to give suggestions for the next text. But still, you have to kind of like type it in. You can also copy paste it. Just have to be a bit careful with this. And and then the next thing is also the experience now from so many photo shootings and so many things. Of course, I could try to put all this data somehow in an AI, maybe. But also that I need to remember all of that stuff. And maybe it makes even sense for me to write everything down and put it into an AI. But I guess also even this now, like for example, you come to me with a profile, like, hey, look, this is what I want now. This is the kind of girls, da 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 da. Then I'm like actually really thinking, okay, this is the kind of pictures, and I remember this client, maybe this we need to do. So I think we can use technology, we can use it as an add-on, we can use it to make our life easier and faster, but it's not going to completely replace everything. Basically, that's my
Mm.
summary of your question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. And it's true that a lot of these apps now, they try to combat that. I know a lot of people who do OnlyFans management or even girls who do that. And sometimes they use some third-party stuff and they get blocked or stuff like that. So there's a lot of limitations, yeah, to that. But you yourself, like, do you have a pretty standardized way of texting for every girl is going to be pretty much the same thing, like a structure, or everything is a bit different most of the time?
Mm, it was in the beginning. It was everything was different. Everything was different. But with this approach, obviously you can be extremely individual. But with this approach, it's also very extremely difficult to track your mistakes, where you make mistakes like if you look at it like a funnel, okay, you're opening, then you're doing whatever, like different steps basically to convert from the open to the date. So we kind of systemize the conversations to a large degree, and make sure that we rather have lots of traffic on the account, lots of matches and likes. That's the first step. And then obviously with the script, let's say, we can see, okay, there's always going to be sometimes an answer of a girl which we do not have scripted yet. But then we can
Hmm.
think about it. Okay, what makes the most sense? What makes the most sense in this particular case to say? We can build like a huge decision-making tree with
Yeah.
all the different possibilities and everything. So we kind of have that in the back, and it also makes it a little bit easier for someone to learn it because like after like me basically now texting for 5 or 6 years, obviously a lots of stuff I'm not even thinking about. It's just like naturally flowing out, and it's like an art,
Yeah.
almost. But the problem is that in art you cannot really teach anyone, and you cannot also like if you have like because sometimes the guys also like obviously ask like why this text, why not this, and obviously we still also make mistakes. It's not like every single text is perfect we do, and we convert every single match, obviously not.
Of course. Yeah.
But that would be a dream. Um, no, but basically systemizing it, making it a bit more yeah, analytical, understanding, like like this is what you have to do specifically. Yeah. So yeah, that's it basically.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's that. But I like what you said. Like at some point, once you do this and you text a lot of girls, there's patterns that you notice, and it's always kind of the same. It follows the same structure at some point. And as you said, it takes about, and this is what I teach to my clients too. After max 5, 10, 15 back and forths, like you're gonna schedule a date, and there's always, a phase of building rapport, a phase of like there's different phases, right? It's always the same thing in the beginning. There's a lot of common questions you're gonna ask, common things. So yeah, I think you can pretty much standardize the whole process. I like to use clipboard. I don't know if you use clipboards too. It's basically like on the keyboard, you can have clipboards where you have pre-made sentences that you can just send pre-made sentences that you've already saved. I like
Hmm.
that too because it's yeah, it really it
What's the
saves you
name of it?
time. You don't need to retext the whole thing. Clipboards.
Clipboard.
Clipboards, yeah. So I use an app called Microsoft Swift Key. It's on Apple, on the Apple Store, and basically I have like everything is already pre-written. So if I want to ask a question to a girl, it's already pre-written. I just need to press send. I don't need to retype
Nice.
for every girl. And so clipboards are pretty useful. Saved me a lot of time. Um,
Thanks. Gonna have a look.
yeah, welcome. So we're gonna just have like one or two last questions about your business, but then we can go into more of I was curious more about your personal life too and the DJing and stuff. We can talk about that and then we can wrap it up real quick. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever had like a client who used your service and you got him a girl on a date, etc., and they ended up being maybe married or she became his long-term girlfriend or whatever?
Yeah, we have one guy who's engaged now from Bumble. We actually plugged in only like I think 1 or 2 weeks after um, him already matching with this girl before. But basically, yeah, that's was during the whole process of us basically taking over his channels. He got engaged now, and yeah, and besides that, to be entirely honest, and that's something maybe also we should track, that we should really track. We have another couple which has been together for 2 years, I think, minimum. They live together nowadays as well, and I think that they're actually going to marry. At least that's how it looks
Hmm.
from the outside. Um, but to be entirely honest, that's something maybe we should even closely monitor a bit more because I don't even know, to be honest. Like that's the
Hmm.
only two examples I have now in my head.
Yeah.
Um, and we we haven't really like have a process for that in the back. Like hey, like share with us this kind of stuff because lots of guys obviously date girls, lots of them also maybe date several girls at the same time or whatever. But I don't know how long and then it ends. Like I don't know. To
Mm,
be honest, it's blank for me.
got it. Yeah, maybe after a few months you can do like a survey and survey your clients and see if maybe they got a girlfriend. How long do they clients stay with you? Have you had clients who stayed more than a year, for example, or is it usually just for 1 month or two and that's it?
I mean, it's just a good point now. I'm just trying to write that down quickly here in my phone about the survey, what you just said. Make
Yeah.
survey about clients. Um, just a second.
It's cool. This podcast is also giving you some business development ideas. So that's good.
Uh, yeah, definitely. I mean, to answer your question, there's clients who stay for more than a year, yes, for sure. Specifically, the clients who maybe do not have as much as experience yet, they may want to look for a girlfriend, but on the way they also see that yeah, that there's still lots of work in front of them, in
Mm,
terms of, let's say, personal development, learning how to run the dates, knowing how to, connect with someone, um, finding what actually their type is,
mm,
having some experience. Because look, I'm not sure how it is for you, but I've been in three, I mean, two relationships beforehand, which were like around 2.5 years. Lots of relationships which were a little bit shorter, many more which were very short. So it took me quite a lot of, let's say, trial and error, and also obviously the passion in this topic itself, of not wanting to settle down for some time, um, and later on figuring out that I would like to do this. But I mean, obviously for everyone is different. Some people they go on 5 dates, and the third girl is like, bam, it's it, and I marry her, and that's for me personally was not like this. It took me a long time to figure this out.
yeah. And it's
So,
always
but yeah,
better anyway to, yeah, it's always better anyway to date many first and then select the best one out of the options you have, out of the abundance you have. A lot of
yes,
guys, especially the inexperienced one, they try to rush themselves into a relationship from a place of scarcity. But I think, yeah, definitely getting a lot of experience and references first is key to know exactly what kind of partners you like long term. So that's
yes.
yeah, that's good. Um, have you do you ever have like gay clients who want to just match with gay guys, like gay people, whatever?
I mean, we had girls wanting to date girls, but then they didn't want to invest the
Yeah,
the amount of money it costs, because yeah, like you definitely need to be able to afford this kind of services. It's not cheap. Um, but gays, no, never. Because also, like, the people I know actually who are, let's
yeah,
say, guys, I mean, most of the people I know, they are just, it's so easy for them. Like,
yeah.
it's just basically like, yeah, it's completely different world. Like, no, no, never,
For
never.
you mean for gay people, most of the time it's easier. They don't need, yeah.
At least the ones I know,
Yeah, yeah,
they've
yeah,
dated
it's
like
true, it's
hundreds,
true.
dated hundreds
Yeah,
of people. Like, it's like it's
yeah,
absolutely crazy sometimes. So yeah, but no, no, never had any clients in.
nice. I've had a lesbian recently, a girl, a lesbian who was interested in attracting other girls, and she signed up. And I'm teaching her the same thing I teach my guys, because at the end of the day, it works the same. And it was pretty interesting, and she got some pretty cool results. She got a few dates with it, etc. She's very happy. She's from Texas, and yeah, it was fun. First time I have a lesbian in my program. That was funny. Um, but uh,
Nice.
but yeah, have you ever had a situation where you tried to match one of your clients to a beautiful girl on a dating app, but when he shows up on the date, he finds out she's a trans or something?
No, we only had like catfishes, so basically girls which didn't look like on the pictures. This happens,
Okay.
of course. Like not filtering them enough,
Mm,
maybe. Or just having like very like old pictures, but then like 5 years later they just do not look as nice anymore, or like kind of fat or whatever.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's then yeah, this guy, this was a problem once or twice. But what you mentioned, no, never had this, no.
Hmm. I guess it might happen more in Thailand or stuff like that. But yeah.
And usually it's also written on the profile,
Yeah, usually they
in most
do
cases.
write it. Uh, so what's the most like surprising story or unexpected request you had from a client? Or maybe if you have a fun anecdote, maybe something happened, it was super weird or super like a funny thing. Do you have some of those maybe in with your service?
I mean, to be honest, we have so many things happening that it's very hard now on the spot to come up with something, because for me, all these things are normal nowadays, but they're obviously maybe not normal for someone who's not running this kind of business. So it's a little bit hard to answer, to be honest. If I come up with something in the next few minutes, I'll let you know, but I would have to think about a little bit what maybe happened in the last week, for example, which is worth mentioning.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. If you don't have one on your mind, that's fine. If you have if it comes up, it comes up. If not, no worries. So you're a pretty interesting guy because you do also DJing. So how long have you been involved with the DJing space? How long have you been doing this? If in an ideal world, let's say money, I mean, I'm not assuming you're doing this just for money, but maybe you do this mainly for money. But whether that is the case or not, like, would you rather be known as the guy who does this type of stuff, like more dates on demand, having an agency, etc.? Or in an ideal world, like, would you want to become a DJ or do both? Or like, how do you see yourself in the next like 5, 10 years? Would you still do what you're doing with the dating stuff? Or would you be more of an artist, DJ, stuff like that, or maybe something else?
Hmm. Very good question. Very good question. To be honest, like since I'm like, let's say, I don't know, 18 or even before this, I always wanted to kind of be a business owner. I also had some other ideas of, being like an investment banker or like a consultant for like one of the big consulting firms. And then I wanted to be a tech entrepreneur and all this kind of stuff. Um, then I realized I tried already so much stuff, like so many different things. Um, and I would say 2 years ago, I started with music, like September 22, more or less. I think that's when it started. And nowadays, I see myself more and more going a little bit in the background of our business, like my business partner actually becoming more and more the face of the business. And also, that's also the direction we're going now, of him basically being in front of the camera, step by step more now, and building him as a personal brand, and me going a bit more in the background, also because um, I I saw myself in this position for quite some time, but I'm kind of good now. I have enough of it in this particular field. I can see also that my strengths are not shifting that much, but my interest, let's say, a little bit more. I'm also becoming a bit more introspective, and I'm better at nowadays, I would say, also maybe because of doing so many different things already, understanding the business more, thinking about, okay, what do we need now? What kind of key positions we need? What kind of processes do we need? What kind of, let's say, automations we need? Like more like geeky kind of stuff, like things where I can lock myself in the room and just like think about stuff. Um, um, and him being more the person, like actually, going out and going maybe also on more of these kind of talks. Probably I'm still gonna do like what we actually plan to do now soon, is like starting some kind of podcast ourselves, just talking once a week for an hour about a topic, maybe inviting people as well, like you basically, but him being
Mhm.
being more in the front. And also for the music, I would say in the music part, I would say now for the next few years, maybe 5 years, 10 years maximum, I would see myself, yes, also DJing more and being like, let's say, on stage and on all this kind of stuff, just to experience for a little bit, like just why not? And I'm already like getting more gigs nowadays, and it's a lot of fun. Just enjoying it for some time, but then also later on, I would say I would see myself also like, once I actually experienced how it is, also going a bit more behind the curtain, producing more music, um, and having maybe artists which I work with closely and can help, and do it just for myself and just like because I like it, and and release some stuff, and maybe once in a while also, like do some gigs because I want to. Yeah, I see myself more from this now. Like in the beginning, I wanted to be outside and seen and da 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 and all that. And nowadays, I would say I'm taking more the role of being a little bit behind the curtain, let's say. Also because I want to start other businesses at some point. So we have like a strategy in mind now with this business and also some other things we're working on. And yeah, and then I want to be a bit more behind the curtains, let's say, for that also, and rather I would rather look at this business nowadays as something we want to build. Like if you mentioned RSD, we want to. The dream of this is like building something similar again, but different. But basically having different personal brands for
Mm.
different kind of, let's say, targets and audiences and uh, and being able in the dating space to capture a lot of the market with different offers and so on. This is a little bit more
Mm.
the vision, but yeah.
Not just the date on demand offer, also the coaching for dating.
Yeah, everything.
Mm. Because
Everything.
yourselves, I mean, yeah, because yourself, I mean, if the guy, I mean, if you can bring a guy dates and he shows up on a date, nothing is going to ensure that maybe he's going to fuck it up because he doesn't have much experience, he doesn't know what to say, etc. So do you ultimately coach him as well on dating stuff, on how to conduct a date, on how to close the deal, etc., or you don't do that stuff yet?
We do that also. Mm,
Yeah.
we do that as well, but that also depends on the kind of, let's say, deals we make. I mean, if, for example, we work with other dating coaches together. So if we do this, then the dating coach who sent us these people, for instance, they do the coaching part, and they already do it before in most cases, so they just take care of that. We just deliver the dates. We're, let's say, like a supplier. But in the cases where it's like a complete cold person coming to us, who doesn't have any other, let's say, referral or something, then if they start asking us questions about dates, then we do this as well. I would say in our case, it's like, mm, at the moment, maybe it's 10 or 20% of the people who actually receive coaching. It's not that many. In the
Mm.
past, it was a bit more. Nowadays, it's a bit less. Also, because I have a feeling that the more we are in this niche of, let's say, working with successful business owners, um, most of the times they're already pretty on point with actually running the dates and that kind of stuff. But of course, it happens that we also run into people who still want to learn more and want to get better and see that they, I don't know, for example, have a conversion problem on the date, or maybe like a retention problem because the girl after the first date never answers them again, and they're like, okay, fuck this guy, something is wrong. I know,
Yeah.
and yeah, this kind of stuff, but yeah.
Mm. It's interesting, anyways, what you said about the vision of having more of a kind of an umbrella brand strategy where you have like an overall brand, but within that umbrella brand, which is the main brand, you have like sub coaches and sub personal brands appealing to different target markets. And this is what I'm trying to do as well, actually, with Higher Self Circle. I
Uh,
have actually another coach now who's in Canada who's also coaching, so we're two with two different personal brands,
mm,
and I'm trying to also have like kind of different profiles, like maybe an Asian guys for more Asian profiles, a guy
yes,
who stuff like that, a black dude for more black guys,
yes,
I don't know, something
yes,
like that, you know. So
yes.
having yeah, different profiles, and I think it's very interesting. I think yeah, definitely there could be some overlaps in our business, and we talked about this already because I'm going to refer people to you, and if some of you in my audience resonate with Johannes, I mean, obviously, reach out to him for the dates on demand stuff. But but yeah, and it's interesting when it comes to DJing too and the music because I've noticed. Do you know Arlen Moore?
Yes.
Mm. I think there's a new wave of people who like not only do they have a business, but they're also having their own music and their own DJing stuff. And I think this is becoming more and more common of like not only you wear the hat of the entrepreneur and you have your business, but you also wear the hat of the artist and kind of combining your brand with your art and the music you're producing. And
Yes.
I think that's becoming an evolution also, and a very interesting evolution because I think it adds more to the personal brand where you listen to his music as well, you see him doing all the type of stuff. And I think in the future there's going to be even festivals or parties just for entrepreneurs who are also DJs having their own DJ stuff. And yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Um, what do you think about that?
Actually, we're organizing a festival now in September here in Poland. So it's not only going to be DJs who have a business, also going to be lots of DJs who are actually just DJs and full-time producers, let's say. But yeah, just had to think about it when you said this now. So obviously I'll send you the details about it also later. You can check it out if you want to come
Yeah, I'm
over.
down, man. I'm down. Down for
It's
B2B too. Yeah.
nice,
All
nice,
right.
man.
We're the future K music, in a few years. Maybe
Of
better
course.
even. We'll see.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so we're running this festival now. We're aiming to have around 500 people this year. We already had an edition last year about it. It was I think around, not sure exactly, but around 250 people, maybe 240. I think that's the number which stuck in my head, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I have a very, very nice location here in the countryside on a lake, huge house where the artists will stay, and then like yeah, like a typical festival is set up, and there's like some little houses you can rent when you want to, not sleep in a tent. Also not really the tent person, to be honest. Um,
mm,
but yeah, so basically that's combining this, and also I think that combining these two things, not sure how it is for you personally, but I feel like once you actually find a muse or like another passion, obviously the dating stuff also was always a passion. It still is a passion, but then it became a business. Like it became like, every day and like structure, and you have to goals and you make your money with this and all this kind of stuff.
yeah.
So, and now having the DJing, which is, of course, I also have goals in this area, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Maybe it's going to change one day and it's going to be completely turned around. Um, but um, but what I wanted to say, and as I said, I don't know how it is for you, but I feel like these things, they complement each other very well, and they give some. I feel like business is the right side of the brain, and the music is the left side, or I don't know if I said it the correct
Yeah.
way now, but you know what I mean. So basically
Mm,
you get from both sides. You can, like, for example, the business stuff I can use in the DJ stuff to be, like, okay, have goals and be like, okay, every week I'm posting and I'm doing like this, and I have like a videographer who's like doing the videos, and I feel like, and I even what I can see now is that the more I'm advancing in business, and obviously there's so much advancements in front of us, like it's crazy how much you can learn there in this area. But it goes like hand in hand almost, like I have some learnings here. I can put it here, and I can learn from the
yeah.
business what I learned today. I can put here in the music area, and also like it's different kind of energies you get from these things. Like I feel like business for me, it's like still, maybe also because I'm German, like it's very, I don't know, processes and efficiency and bam, 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 like this. And the music for me, at least, it's like it feels like this. It feels more like enjoyment and fun and da da da. And
Yeah.
and I think having this part influences the business very positively because it makes it more like if you look at business as an organism which is living and breathing, like if you only trim your organism and it never has fun, it's never like in a playful mode, it's missing something, it's missing something, and lots of creativity and ideas. And I think this together, I don't know if it makes sense now what I'm saying, but you know what I mean, maybe, they
Yeah,
can.
yeah. No, makes
uh,
sense. Makes sense. I feel exactly the same way. as you said, like it adds a good yin and a yang, a good balance between the two, between creativity, music, having fun, parties, and the business side. Also now, I mean, because you and I have been DJing for a while, I guess you're getting paid too. I'm getting paid for my gigs. So it adds also, it adds some income, but I don't do it for the money, to be honest. Last week I DJ'd for no money for a friend's event, and it was fun, and I'm happy to do that sometimes. But it's cool also when some bars pay you on top of you having fun and on top of you playing your own music, they pay you also, so it's cool.
Yes.
Um, do you produce as well, or not yet? Not at all.
Yeah, I mean the first track I released on my, I mean not a label, but on my own Spotify, like I think 3 weeks ago,
Okay,
around that time.
I didn't see that. Hmm.
Yeah. So that's out, and now I would say I'm currently looking for. Actually, last night I reached out to someone, like a guy who was recommended to me. Again, an AI maybe can teach me the music production, but I actually wanted to learn from a guy who has lots of experience with house music, and I reached out to him, asked him if he has maybe some free time to do some coaching because yeah, my production is in the very much in the beginning. Like I know what Ableton is, and I know how to set up the software, and I know how to use the effects and whatever, but I'm like very at the beginning, so I'm trying to get like as same with dating or whatever. I also took lots of coachings and mentorings and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm doing the same now in music just to learn faster and yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. So talking about mentors and all of that, like who was like your biggest mentor for, I mean, at the moment, because it can change always, but at the moment right now, let's say in 2024, who has been the most influential mentor you've had in business, let's say, and in dating, or who has been the most influential so far? If you have names, if you want to share names.
I mean, for business, I can say definitely I since 2004, not 14, 2020, I'm following Ty Lopez quite a lot. He was
Yeah, I
recommended
love
to
this
me by,
guy.
yeah, he's nice, man. He's nice. I mean, before this, I thought he's a scammer, and like he's like, you cannot take him seriously. But then one of my smartest and most successful friends, he's like, oh yeah, check this guy out. I was like, if he says that, that means a lot to me because I really value his word, and yeah, that's basically what happened. I started consuming. I'm also like kind of obsessive person sometimes. I feel like maybe we all are the same in this entrepreneurial world. If we like something, we just like destroy it. Like we just want to like soak up all the value which is out there from this person. So basically like listening to almost every podcast he has and all the interviews on YouTube, like 3-4 hour interviews, like fuck it, I just listen to everything I can. Um, and also being in his coaching now, like working with him actually together, him also
Mm,
like directly giving us feedback to our, let's say, strategy and marketing and so on is very helpful. So yeah, that's definitely a very big influence. Also from the psychology, like he's a very smart guy. I really like him.
yeah.
Um, of course, nowadays I would say the older I get, the more, let's say, I also have my own opinions about stuff, and maybe I don't agree on everything he says, obviously, but for business, marketing, and everything where I need help with this, I wouldn't want to be saying I'm smarter than him because his results are insane, and I'm just listening and I'm implementing what he says basically. So yeah, that's for me in business. I don't know who it is for you, but
Mm.
yeah.
Now, Ty is definitely has been an influence as well in some way. He's very big on personality tests, quizzes, like you find your personality, your stuff. He has his own quiz is really good, actually. I recommend going to tylopez.com/quiz. I think he has a quiz, personality test and stuff. Very big on that. He's very big into evolutionary psychology, David
Yes.
Buss, dating, stuff like that. No, he's super interesting, and he acquired a lot of companies now. And he was friend with the guy who has Zeusk, Doctor whatever his name, who had Zeusk. with the they had the mentor box with him and
Oh
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I mean Thai is great. I like Sam Ovens. Sam Ovens is like for me is like one of the biggest. Sam Ovens is so amazing. Consulting accelerator, best program ever. And it's a great mentor that I've had. And what about dating? Do you want to give a name or something or someone who really influenced you or
To be honest, I followed everybody, like I followed
Mhm.
RSD, I followed Mystery, I followed Playing with Fire from United States, Ultimate Man Project also from kind of like US, Europe, I don't know, like different guys. To name a few. I who else? But back in the days, the biggest influence by far was Max Torno or Maximilian
Yeah,
Berger, or whatever
RSD
his
Max. Yeah.
exactly. He definitely in the beginning had the biggest influence on me because he was the first one. Neil Strauss with the game book was also very big. But yeah, Todd Valentine I consumed a lot from in the past as well. I
Yeah.
would say yeah, anybody like lots of different guys, like lots of different guys. I
Hmm.
follow. I would say I took lots of stuff from different people.
Yeah.
I don't know which
Mm.
ones are you the biggest ones you
Mhm.
follow, but yeah.
Yeah. I think we had very similar guys as well. Like it's good to learn from different people and then make up your own ideas, test your own stuff, and come up with your own style at some point. But I think it's good to have different inputs, different ideas, because every coach is a bit unique in his style of doing things, in what he teaches, etc. Myself, I really loved Derek when he was with RSD, back when he was with RSD. A lot of people call him a scammer and stuff like that. But he really helped me in many ways. Now, yeah, maybe he scammed a little bit for boot camps or stuff, or maybe some of his stuff is a bit questionable, some of his methods of selling and stuff. But still, like the way he teaches things and the frame he has and the understandings of female psychology that Derek has, I've rarely seen guys who have that like more than him. I've been on boot camps with him. I've consumed all his courses. I've been with him like in real life multiple times. And Derek was. Do you know Derek? Have you heard of him?
Mhm. Yes, but never
So
never consumed him. I heard a lot like people talking about him, but I never consumed anything or never really
yeah,
thought. But no,
Derek's
same.
crazy guy. And when you mix, honestly, when I mixed up like a bit of Derek, a bit of Tate, a bit of this guy, a bit of RSD, a bit of Mystery, a bit of that, when you make your own soup based on all the teachings of all these guys and you implement your own stuff, then you come up with something incredible. Um,
Yes.
because if you only follow one guy, then it's a bit limited, you know. So yeah, I think it's a mix of all these things that make up for an amazing thing when you make your own soup.
Yeah, and probably
Yeah.
it's like for these people you learn from it's the same, like they also like they mix their soup and then we mix a soup on top of that and now maybe some people are watching you and learning from you and then in 5 years they become a dating coach and they take again some stuff from
Yeah.
you.
I've had a few guys who actually 4 years ago they were in my mentoring and now they're doing masculinity coaching or dating or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Yeah, it's it's the cycle. It's the roller coaster of yeah. Well, look, I mean, it was incredible to have you. I think there's a lot of different insights people can get from this interview. One last thing, like what would be your like last tip, last advice for people who maybe they want to start a business like you do in the dating niche, or maybe they want to have more success with women? What would be a piece of advice, maybe? And second thing, what's your favorite book that you've read? I wanted to ask you that as well.
to be honest, I think the main advice is get a therapist as soon as you can and work on your stuff because even you think you're good, you're not. Like, I mean, we all have issues. Like, some of them have more, some people have more issues, some have less. But especially if you would describe yourself as a high achiever, then you probably have a lot of trauma, which might hurt the reality. But last week I was in an event in Frankfurt, sitting there with like a very successful business owner having like a huge software company. And he basically said the same. Even every time you step in a room with high achievers, there's a mountain of trauma. And him basically saying this as an authority who's like huge company, like making much, 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 much more money than me, much bigger company. Um, like gave me a little bit, let's say, the credibility or like maybe the confidence to say this as well, because I definitely stand on the same point and I can see this from my own development. I should have started with therapy when I was 18, probably, not wait until I'm whatever 29. So everything I would say will be easier once you do this because there's so much stuff happening in your head which keeps you from being successful ultimately. Or maybe you're successful in business and girls, but then you're always sick. Or maybe you're very healthy and you have a great girlfriend, but you don't make any money. So like all these kind of, let's say, things, I
Mm.
would say it's very, very helpful to get a therapist. And it's only like $100 or euros an hour. You can do this like whatever, every week or every 2 weeks. So this would be the first advice for anybody. Um, and the second advice would be when it comes to books. You mean like business books or like what kind of books? Any book?
Mm. I mean, you seem more of a spiritual guy, I mean, in many ways and stuff. So maybe kind of a spiritual book. Apart from the classics like The Power of Now and stuff. Maybe you have a book that's like pretty deep.
A book which I can recommend nowadays. I mean, the only one which comes to my mind now when it comes to, let's say, mindset also and spirit. I wouldn't really call it spirituality, but mindset is a book which was recommended by someone I know from my hometown. He has a huge business, made almost 200 million in revenue last year. So huge software company owner in the finance industry. So him also being like a huge fan of this book, and me because of him basically talking about it, also reading this was Psycho-Cybernetics. Not sure if you
Yeah,
heard
by
about it.
Max Gladwell, something. Yeah, yeah.
Something like this, yeah. So
Yeah,
him,
I read it. It's a great book.
and then another one which is very good is from John Bradshaw, Homecoming. It's a psychology book about healing, let's say, all the trauma inside you. Lots of exercises. Also, even maybe if you're like, yeah, this guy is saying you should get a therapist, like whatever, I'm not gonna get one. Then I would at least say take this book and make the test and be actually honest to yourself when you're answering this test. And then afterwards you can still decide if you want to have a therapist, but I would say probably afterwards you will realize that you need one.
Is it
Most certainly.
what's the name? Sorry, Homecoming.
Homecoming from John Bradshaw.
John. Okay.
Um, this I would say, I mean, it's yeah, very highly mindset oriented and psychology. Personally, one of my favorite
Yeah.
topics, if not the most interesting for me personally. But
Mm.
yeah, yours? Maybe you can also share yours because I'm curious now.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to come back to the topic of therapy because, to be honest, I rarely took a therapist, if not ever. And this is the last advice like I would have personally gave to someone because I don't know, I'm also this is going to be the Tate maybe mindset that I have as well from Tate, but like I'm really kind of a bit against a bit like not against, but I don't believe much in like therapy myself because I feel like sometimes like you just basically she asks you questions, you tell her about your life, and then she asks you other questions, and a lot of them are like just making money off of people who are kind of desperate to talk to someone about their problems. And I don't know, I have this whole perception about therapy. Maybe it's a limiting belief. I just never resonated with the idea. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to read the book Homecoming and see.
I would rather ask a different question. I would rather ask what are you afraid of, or what can you lose? Like what is the like let's say it works, what can you win? And what can you lose if it doesn't work? Like the only thing you can lose is $100 and 1 hour of your time, basically.
Hmm.
But what can you win is a new life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but when you go to therapy, you come with a specific problem you want to solve, right? Or you just free flow.
we all have issues, you know, specifically
Mm,
specifically on the higher end of, let's say, performance, as I said earlier. Um, you obviously have to be open for this topic, you know, you have to be open for it. And specifically, let's say when I'm looking at Germany, I'm from Germany. There's lots of, let's say, real psychologists with a degree, like with which have lots of experience from clinics or whatever. Like there's not some like health gurus which are like some Instagram coach, you know, who says like, "Ah, I'm 18, I'm doing mindset coaching now, and I know exactly what to talk about," because they don't have any idea what they're doing. And I
mm,
was one of them myself. I was one of them myself, teaching mindset when I was younger, and it's absolute bullshit. So, to be honest, but yeah, you have to be open for this kind of idea, and you also mm, maybe need to get warm with this idea over a longer period. And maybe, like, for example, I was always against psychedelics. I was like, this is complete, no, it's a drug. You should never do this. Like, very strict. And then I heard about it from this person and this person. And then, I don't know, Tim Ferriss. I like the guy, like, you know, startup guy, lots of money, cool guy. Like, I like him talking so much about it, like how much of an influence it has. Then I heard it again somewhere, and I was like, challenging this belief a little bit, you know. So I would
mm.
try to, in general, when it comes to mindset, be extremely careful with strong opinions on any kind of topics. Like that's basically also what Tai Lopez says, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's also in dating, like no, only this works. No, it doesn't. You don't know. Like you don't know if therapy maybe it works, maybe not. Maybe in this for this
Hmm.
guy it works. Maybe for in this circumstance it works. But like it's so complex, you know. So and even I
Mm.
myself, like all bias, you know, we have all these psychological biases playing on our side, and obviously depends also who we're listening to and their history and what is their agenda and why they're saying this and that, blah 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 blah. Like it's like we could talk for 5 hours about this topic now, but. But yeah, I can only say for my own personal experiences, it's probably the thing which helped me the most in my life is this.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think some
and
people also have the ability to be their kind of their own therapist through what they're going through, but it's tricky.
I don't think so. No, I disagree.
Yeah.
Personally, to be honest, I disagree with this because some stuff, like for example, me, like I needed 2 years of talking about something and lots of psychedelic until I understood my own behavior, emotions and thought process, why I actually thought this, why I actually had this idea and belief, and what it actually caused inside me in terms of emotion, what I said to other people because of this. Like it took me, like I wouldn't have never been able, maybe you, I don't know, but personally, I have to disagree for myself because I would have never ever been able to
Mm.
realize this stuff about myself without
Yeah.
this like intense process, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
And did it take like more than 10 therapy sessions, or could you in like 2, 3 sessions you can be good?
No, no, no. It takes a long time. And also even this, like it's funny because I also asked this in the beginning of the therapy. Like, okay, how can we be more efficient? How can we do this fast? Only this question already shows a lot of stuff. Like on the surface now, this question, okay, where is this question coming from? What does it mean about you? Okay, why do you want to have it fast? What is the intention behind it? And so on. You can like start asking, I could ask you like lots of
Yeah.
questions now. Then you would probably find out there's a reason why we want to be fast at a specific goal. And what is even
Hmm.
the goal? It's like a very complex topic now. And as I said, we can talk
Yeah.
about these topics, we could talk for like hours on end. But yeah, I would say maybe just to summarize it, like I would I would be trying to be open about it and seeing if it resonates. If it feels if you have a feeling, okay, I might give it a chance, I would give it a chance. And
Mm.
maybe it's
Yeah.
gonna be now, maybe it's gonna be 2 years, maybe it's gonna be in 10 years, and maybe it's gonna be never. I don't know. But
Mm.
I can only, from my personal experience, I think it's also like the thing which, let's say, which makes the most sense to talk about is like just just knowing where I was before, where I'm now, and the huge development I made internally and emotionally is it's massive, massive, massive. No.
Mm. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. It has to be the right person too. And I think even nowadays, like some,
Oh
if you
yeah.
take a mentor if you take a mentor that's really good, he can kind of act a bit as your therapist because he's gonna show you your blind spots in your thinking too. Sometimes, I mean, for me, that sometimes, yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
That's why it's a discussion, right? We all have different opinions, I guess, about it. Mm. I would personally look at it like this. I would ask myself, where do I want to be? Like, how do I want to feel every day? Like, what is the results in the outside? What is the money I want to make in my bank account? What is the kind of relationship I want to have? What is the outside? What is the inside? How do I want to feel? How does my day look like? Do my emotions look like? My relationships, how deep are they? How much love do I feel? How much am I able to build a family, for example, like, do I want to even, maybe some people don't want to, like whatever. Writing all these
Mm,
things down and then seeing if this might be a tool to get you there. Um, and then you can see what is the best tool. Personally, I would say I've worked with lots of mentors, but and coaches and all this kind of stuff. But they all have a different function, like a coach is a coach because he's a coach, and a therapist is a therapist because he's a therapist. And then I did, like, for example, meditation coach. Like I had like this Vipassana stuff, 10 days meditation camp, and all this kind of stuff. All of these things, psychedelic coaching, blah 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 blah. Like all of these things, and probably it's the same. They're all specialists in each field, and they all they are like a puzzle in the big puzzle of your life. All of these
mm.
things play a role, and that's how I personally look at it. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I will look at those things more. I'll check out the book Homecoming and stuff. But it's interesting that you said therapy would be the most impactful thing, because I wouldn't have said that at all. Would be the last thing I would have said. But yeah, we have a difference in this thinking, and maybe in a few years I will come back to you and realize that was actually the main thing too. I don't know, but yeah, because I never really went deep on therapy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Um,
say probably, yeah, of course you wouldn't say because you haven't done it. Probably that's the first thing. The same with me, like, because a few years ago, being completely against psychedelics. After doing it, I was like, wow, changed my life as well. For example, like meditation, for example. Before I was like, my mom was meditating when I was younger. I was like, how stupid is she that she's sitting on this fucking sheep thing there on in her bedroom, like thinking about nothing. Like, what is was so stupid? Like, who's doing this? This was my opinion with, like, I don't know, 15. And then later, I'm now, since 2015, I'm meditating every day. Almost
mm,
had zero breaks. I'm very, very consistent with this. And now I'm like, wow, like meditation is amazing. So
yeah, I agree. Meditation, I do agree. It's definitely a life changer,
yeah.
in many ways. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I think we're gonna wrap it up because it's been a long time. I wouldn't I didn't think that it would take that much time. Usually it's like 45 minutes, an hour, but we kept going. I'm sure we can keep going a lot more and we can go into so many more topics. But I think that after this podcast, a lot of the listeners here will have a pretty good understanding of what you do and what you're about and your vision and stuff. Is there a question that if you were me, you would have asked yourself that maybe I didn't ask something?
To be honest, I'm very, 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 very much positively, not surprised, maybe the wrong word, but I'm very happy for the way you managed to do this here. It felt very good and professional. So um, I'm not sure if anything is missing, to be entirely honest. I rather would say that I can take an example of this for my own podcast if I ever do one, and implement what you've done, because from the beginning I've seen you as someone who's very professional and reliable and hardworking and smart. So I think it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Me too. And how can people find you if they want to find you or they want to know more about your business? Like, do you have a website? Do you have I know you have your social media, you can share that, but do you have a website or stuff like that?
To be honest, the easiest Instagram. Just reach out. Maybe put it in the description of the video if you upload it somewhere. Like just my Instagram Johannes Luettmer is a little bit complicated, but it's going to be written there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, with the link.
I'll drop the
Uh,
handle. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's the easiest to reach me. You can also like send in your profiles if you would like me to, have a look if you what you can get out of your profiles before we even like, organize dates for you, just for you to get a feeling for it, maybe, if that's okay. Um, and yeah,
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks, Johannes. And for the listeners, go check out Johannes's profile. And yeah, don't hesitate to share this podcast with your friends, with people who would need it. Share, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. And thanks again, Johannes, for being here. I'm sure in the future we can potentially collaborate on some other things as well, not only with the DJing, but also in the dating space and stuff like that, since we're both in kind of the same industries at the moment.
yes.
And yeah, any final thoughts? Anything else? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Yeah,
Thank you, and thanks
perfect.
for.
Well, thanks.